I shall talk on a burning question in our gastroenterology practice, that is proton pump inhibitor use, its advantage and disadvantage in prolonged use. Proton pump inhibitor brought a revolutionary change in management of acid-related disorder. It is about 30 years we are using this drug. It is now one of the most widely prescribed medicine in the world. And we all know the indications of PPI, but I want to just recapitulate: gastroesophageal reflux disease, esophageal ulcers, Barrett's esophagus, maintenance therapy for prevention and recurrence of GERD, gastroduodenal ulcer disease, eradication of Helicobacter pylori, along with NSAID, aspirin, and steroid in high-risk groups, short course in non-ulcer dyspepsia and uninvestigated dyspepsia, prevention of stress ulcer and in ICU settings, Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. Prolonged use is indicated for treatment of erosive esophagitis and prevention of its relapse, maintenance of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug to prevent NSAID gastropathy, hypersecretory status, elderly patients, past history of ulcer and bleeding ulcer due to risk of recurrence. Treatment of proton pump inhibitor responsive esophageal eosinophilia. It is about 50% of eosinophilic esophagitis cases, and on-demand or intermittent therapy may be considered for low-grade GERD and non-erosive GERD. Advantage of long-time use of proton pump inhibitor. Its management for it is used in management of GERD symptom recurrence, maintenance therapy and prevention of gastroduodenal ulcer during use of aspirin and NSAID, intermittent use for functional dyspepsia, effective for prevention of neoplastic transformation of Barrett's esophagus. Regarding withdrawal of proton pump inhibitor, we should remember that suppressing acid proton pump inhibitor stimulates or reactivate acid secretion mechanism, and sudden withdrawal of proton pump inhibitor may cause rebound hypersecretion, creating a sort of dependency on the drug, and this sort of dependency persists about 2 weeks. And another thing is, proton pump inhibitor does not undergo tachyphylaxis or loss of efficacy even after prolonged use. In USA, current evidence shows that proton pump inhibitor is overused. In 25 to 70% of prescriptions, it is used without appropriate indications, and global cost exceeds $25 billion per year. And in Bangladesh, according to Intercontinental Medical Statistics, total price of proton pump inhibitor used from July 1, 2019 to June 30, 2020 is 3,351.1 crore taka. It is a large amount, but no data regarding rationality of use is available. And here I like to say that what are the common inappropriate uses? Prevention of gastroduodenal ulcer disease in low-risk patients, low-dose steroid therapy without risk factors, with systemic anticoagulation, and over-treatment of functional dyspepsia. These are the common inappropriate uses. And here we can see at a glance what are the adverse effects of prolonged proton pump use. One is a stroke, ischemic heart disease, subacute cutaneous lupus erythematosus, rhabdomyolysis, stomach gastric fundic gland polyps, both interstitial nephritis and chronic renal disease, collagenous colitis, and microscopic colitis in bones. It causes calcium absorption defect leading to fracture. A small gut, it causes a small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, a spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, anemia, hepatic encephalopathy, pneumonia, and dementia. Now, these adverse effects are categorized in two groups. One is adverse effects of prolonged proton pump inhibitor are categorized in two groups. One is unrelated to acid suppression. These are allergic reaction to drug chemicals, collagenous colitis, acute interstitial nephritis, chronic kidney disease, drug interaction, dementia, cerebral ischemia, and ischemic heart disease. Here, the evidence and effect size are shown in this figure. Drug interaction, drug allergy, acute interstitial nephritis, these are evidence are high. And on the other hand, collagenous colitis, effect size and evidence both are higher. Now, allergic reaction to drug chemicals. What can happen? Anaphylaxis, pancytopenia, agranulocytosis, thrombocytopenia, hemolytic anemia, acute liver disease, toxic epidermal necrolysis, Stevens-Johnson syndrome, interstitial nephritis, rhabdomyolysis. Now, collagenous colitis. Diarrhea is frequently associated with proton pump inhibitor use, and of them, a group of patients have collagenous colitis. All PPI can lead its development, but lansoprazole is most frequently reported agents. And one thing is that a spontaneous remission is followed by withdrawal of the drug. Acute interstitial nephritis and chronic kidney disease. Observational studies shows patients taking proton pump inhibitor may have interstitial nephritis due to allergic reaction to drug chemicals. About 14% of all drug-induced interstitial nephritis cases are due to proton pump inhibitor use. Another thing is long-term proton pump inhibitor use is also related with chronic kidney disease. And drug interactions. Proton pump inhibitor augment the action of diazepam, phenytoin, warfarin, and decrease the pharmacological effect of clopidogrel. But rabeprazole does not affect significantly. Now, dementia. A study shows that prolonged use of proton pump inhibitor increases the risk of dementia among elderly people. But some studies contradict the result. Retrospective study shows prolonged PPI use is associated with overall increase of cerebral ischemia, ischemic cardiac disease unrelated to clopidogrel, and decreased life expectancy. But no prospective study is available. Now, the adverse effects related to acid suppression. There is a large number of conditions that is related to acid suppression. These are pneumonia, gastrointestinal infection, gastric carcinoid tumors, gastric fundal mucosal hypertrophy, change in gut microbiota, spontaneous small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, iron deficiency, drug interactions, type 2 diabetes mellitus, hypomagnesemia, vitamin B12 deficiency, calcium absorption impairment leading to fracture, gastric fundal polyps, gastric cancer, colon cancer, spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, hepatic encephalopathy, and increased risk of overall death. As acid inhibition related adverse effects, mainly in pneumonia, it occurs mostly in healthcare acquired and ventilator associated cases. Here, PPI increases intragastric pH, decrease immunity by decreasing lysosomal enzyme activity, and leads to bacterial overgrowth and colonization to trachea and cause pneumonia. Increased intestinal infection. Long-term use of proton pump inhibitor increases risk of Clostridium difficile infection. Mechanism is Clostridium difficile spores are relatively resistant to gastric acid. Long-term acid suppression may alter colonic microbiome to decrease colonization, resistance to or other normal barrier to Clostridium difficile proliferation. In addition to Clostridium difficile, acid labile bacteria Salmonella, Campylobacter also colonize in higher rate in patients on long-term proton pump inhibitor therapy. Gastric neuroendocrine tumors. Several case reports of gastric neuroendocrine tumors in patients on long-term proton pump inhibitor are published. PPI administration increased plasma gastrin concentration and increased intragastric pH. Gastrin stimulates proliferation of gastric enterochromaffin-like cells. Another thing is gastric fundal mucosal hypertrophy. Hypergastrinemia leads to proliferation of gastric mucosal stem cells in the neck area of the gastric fundic glands. There increased the gastric fundic mucosal thickness. Similar change also seen in Zollinger-Ellison syndrome. When PPI is stopped, increased acid secretion is increased, and patient become a source of dependent on drugs. Change in gut microbiota and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Long-term proton pump inhibitor intake changes gut microbiota and increased number of Streptococcus organisms. Increased bacterial density in duodenum and jejunum, leading to small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Other pathogenic bacteria may colonize the small intestine. Hypomagnesemia. Prolonged proton pump inhibitor use lead to hypomagnesemia by decreasing small intestinal absorption. Number of case reports are not high, but periodic follow-up is recommended to detect subclinical cases. Now, vitamin B12 deficiency. Acid suppression interferes release of vitamin B12 from protein. So binding of vitamin B12 with intrinsic factor is disturbed. As a result, absorption of vitamin B12 is compromised. But studies suggest little clinical relevance. Gastric fundic gland polyps. These are hyperplastic and sometimes cystic fundic glands. Develops in response to prolonged proton pump inhibitor use in H. pylori negative patients. These polyps regress after withdrawal of proton pump inhibitor. These are not clinically important, but requires endoscopic follow-up. Gastric cancer. Some observational studies shows long-term proton pump inhibitor use increase risk of gastric cancer in H. pylori infected patients, even after successful H. pylori eradication. Mechanism: proton pump inhibitor augments mucosal inflammation and accelerates mucosal atrophy, which may increase risk of cancer. Now, colon cancer. Some colon cancer cells have gastric receptor linked to cell proliferation. Proton pump inhibitor induced hypergastrinemia may stimulate neoplastic colonic cells, thus increase risk of colon cancer. But observational studies does not comply this idea. Now, spontaneous bacterial peritonitis and hepatic encephalopathy. Proton pump inhibitor administration increases risk of spontaneous bacterial peritonitis. Proton pump inhibitor use also increase risk of hepatic encephalopathy. Mechanism is proton pump inhibitor changes gut microbiota, leads hypomagnesemia and vitamin B12 deficiency, and these factors precipitate both the spontaneous bacterial peritonitis and hepatic encephalopathy. Recently, one prospective study from China reports that regular use of proton pump inhibitor is associated with higher risk of type 2 diabetes mellitus. Risk increases with longer duration of use. H2 receptor blockers use is also found to be associated with higher risk, but lesser in extent than proton pump inhibitor. Mechanism is acid suppression, change in gut microbiota diversity can lead to weight gain, metabolic syndrome, and chronic liver disease, and heighten the risk. Now, drug interaction. Prolonged proton pump inhibitor use augment the action of digitalis and impair the absorption of itraconazole, atazanavir, and luminally active drugs, polycarbophil calcium. bone fracture. Chronic proton pump inhibitor use increased risk of fracture neck of femur. It increased gastric pH due to long-term PPI use, impaired calcium absorption. But routine bone mineral density examination is not recommended. Now here we can see the evidence and effect size for adverse effect of proton pump inhibitor with acid suppression. Change in gut microbiota, fundic mucosal hypertrophy, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, Clostridium difficile infection, funding gland polyp, these are evidence is higher. But on the other hand, drug interaction has effect size higher and also evidence is higher. Now, we are going to conclude this talk. All currently available proton pump inhibitor shows both beneficial and adverse effects. So, for prescribing proton pump inhibitor, appropriate indication should be confirmed. Risk and benefit should be calculated. When therapeutic effect is larger, low risk of adverse effects are accepted. Majority of adverse effects are related to long-term use. Most of the reports of adverse effects of long-term proton pump inhibitor use are yielded from retrospective data. Clinical impact of adverse events of proton pump inhibitor use are not large enough. Majority of evidence are not adequate to make firm conclusion. So, clinicians must try to balance merits and demerits of long-term proton pump inhibitor administration before prescribing in clinical practice. Thank you all for patience hearing.